feminist charlatan. More than I bargained then. I say I think women have cocks and that men look good in frocks, but I'll sell my arse on OnlyFans and claim that it's a feminist friend. But I've sold out to any who pay. That's the modern feminist charlatan's way. I'm a feminist where men go first. You see that I'm the worst. No wonder I am so bitter. My feminism made life shitter. I wanted to sell out every girl for the magic of a man in her space. I wanted to make every last woman feel that I'm just a fucking disgrace. Feminist charlatan, more than I bargained and I say I think women have cocks and that men look good in frocks, but I'll sell my arse on OnlyFans and claim that it's a feminist friend. But I've sold out to any who pay. That's the modern feminist charlatan's way. Men can enter our space.
Hi, good afternoon. How the devil are you? I thought I would just respond to Carla Denya. She is something in the Green Party, an elected MP in Bristol. She took the seat from Fangham Charlatan Debonair. And Carla, I don't want to be disparaging about how someone looks, but she looks like she'd make a good prefect. And precious little else, actually. If you're enjoying my scarf, it's a suffragette scarf. Look at that. How amazing. Anyway, so I thought I would show you what she said, because it's very interesting what the lovely Carla says. And we will, before we look at what Carla says, we will reflect on what the Green Party actually stands for. So here you go. This is the deputy leader of the Green Party. So let's just remember about him, because he's a very special man. And I think it's important when we look at what's happening in Iran, we remember that the leftists joined with the Islamists, or rather the communists joined with the Muslims, and they produced a country that has been under a despicable, disgusting, violent regime, particularly women-hating, violent regime. And it's all because of this. And do remember when you watch this, that this man has an invisible wife. So she wears a burqa.
Palestine will be free! Yes. 3 years ago, we started this campaign. I started alone, and Allah sent His angels to come and assist me. For the community of Hales and Gibson, who are fed up of being let down by the Labour Council, who are being fed up of being taken for granted, who have been fed up of being taken for granted, who have been fed up of being neglected by this rotten council, who are fed up. Look at the language you use in back off. Don't you this is a
Just to say, when you're watching that, are you feeling particularly elated? Like, if you're a Green Party member, is this what you want? You want men who look like this, being the deputy leader of the party? Really? Like, what about him says save the whales?
Hales and Gibson, this is a win for the people of Gaza who have been We will not be silent. We will raise the voice of Gaza. We will raise the voice of Palestine. Allahu Akbar!
No, that's that man, and it would be good now to reflect. How much do we think that man is aligned with what this absolute muppet says here?
Mr Speaker, I've heard from constituents who are worried that the updated guidance on relationship and sex education encourages but doesn't actually require primary schools to teach about same-sex relationships. So can the Secretary of
10-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, what do they need to know to be taught, not accept, not by osmosis, not, if somebody's at school with same-sex parents, but this woman wants to force primary schools to teach it. Do we think that the man we just saw, Mothan Ali, do we think that that man is actually really on board with teaching primary school children about homosexual relationships? Is that do we think that that's a joined up party?
So can the Secretary of State set out how she will ensure that all children learn in an age-appropriate way about a diverse range of relationships when this is left to schools' discretion, especially given that the charity Just Like Us,
which is a terrible, terrible have a rainbow club in school charity,
found that only 19% of LGBT parents say their child's school openly discusses diverse relationships.
Mr Speaker, the new guidance sets out inclusion for all children and recognising those relationships. As the honourable member will know, it's mandatory in secondary school and it's something that we're continuing to take forward.
So the Green Party, on the one hand, you've got this geezer, Allah Akbar geezer, with a wife and a burqa, with all of these men around him that, quite frankly, look pretty sinister. And I'm just wondering, how does that work? For me, I might get in trouble for this, but for me, I don't think that we should be bothering primary age children with adult relationships. I just don't think it's essential at all. I don't believe the lie that in order for children to recognize sexual abuse, they need to be taught about sex at primary age. I don't think they do. I think consent is one thing where you sort of teach children all sorts of behaviors that are polite and respect their own personal boundaries. But as far as forcing schools to teach about gay relationships or diverse relationships, I mean, I'm assuming she would think it was okay to teach polyamory to primary schools. I don't see however you fall on this debate, I don't see how someone like Mothan Ali would be okay with teaching 7-year-olds about gay relationships. And I just don't know why we're focused on it. I think they should learn about conception. I think children should be, for as long as humanly possible, free from having to think about sexuality at all. Most of them won't have gone through puberty. Most of them won't be gay. I don't really see why or what benefit it has at all to teach children about gay relationships or any adult relationships. Diverse families is one thing. Obviously, a lot of children might have parents with disabilities. They might have single parents. They might be adopted. They might be in care. And I think actually the best thing that school can do is a real leveler, that actually you come to school as an individual to learn, to abide by behavior, rules and regulations in a school, to learn, read, write, and arithmetic, to learn a bit of history, maybe to learn the history of Iran might be relevant right now, so we can all learn what we are diving straight into in this country. But as far as the Green Party standing in Parliament and demanding that all primary age children learn about adult sexuality and adult relationships, I really don't see how that lines up with the massive influx of Muslims into the Green Party. And look, if you know anything about Iran, if you know anything at all about what happened in the coup that happened in Iran, if you know anything about that at all, then you will see big red flags, red and green flags, if you like, when it comes to your party and when it comes to the Greens and the current influx of what some might call Islamists, what I would call Muslims, men trying to take over a political party and a political movement and make it about something that it's not. It's probably no mistake that the Palestine flag happens to have green and red and a big fat triangle warning arrow in it. So that's my 2 pence today. I don't believe the Greens. I think they're full of shit. And you should too. And Carla Denyer in particular, standing up like to use her question about that for primary school, I find really sinister. And I think the fact that she's not a parent speaks volumes in this. It's simply, it's not necessary for children to be learning about adult things at primary school. And when we talk about the charity called Just Like Us, they promote rainbow clubs in schools. They give out awards to schools for LGBT plus crap. They teach about gender identity. Their whole syllabus is totally laced with dishonesty. Like, you can be a girl if you're a boy, and you can be a boy if you're a girl. And all of these things I think are really damaging to children. And they just happen to tack on some other things so that schools adopt them wholeheartedly. Look, we're in a moment in this kind of activism where each and every one of you that cares about this at all is going to have to directly start talking to the people that are actually teaching this shit to your children. You're going to have to do it yourselves, because I don't know of any of the organizations that have been set up, professional organizations or MPs for that matter, that have said at all that they don't want fetishy men teaching children in schools, or fetishy men lining up to be chaperones when you ask for a female chaperone in hospital. I don't know any of them that are trying to get this sort of guidance out of schools where we no longer have to teach children adult things that I don't think they should be bothered with. It's not the same. Look, when my kids were at a primary school, there were 2 dads that picked up their child. I don't know whether they had a son or daughter, but they picked up their child. And that would have been something that if a child had raised a question in that classroom, that would have been answered in a really appropriate way. That, you know, some families have 2 dads, some families have 2 mums, some families have 1 mum. But to put that in as something that has to be taught, I find really, really unpalatable. And I don't trust it at all. I think it's sinister. I think it's just a whole thing about blurring the boundaries between adults and children. Children are not little adults. We're not in the Victorian age anymore. Children are not adults. They're children. They need to be given the space to just be kids and not be concerned about adult relationships and the things that adults should be worried about. Just let them be kids. Anyway, if you can talk about the things that are unfashionable, that you're not supposed to talk about, that you're supposed to think, oh no, that makes me something. That means I must be a bigot if I care that children are being taught these adult themes. Actually, you know, gay, it's fine to be gay, and it absolutely is. And saying that you don't want children taught that doesn't mean that you don't think that it's absolutely fine for adults to be homosexual, or even teenage children finding out that they're homosexual and coming out. That's not the same thing. These are primary school children. These are children up to the age of 11. For God's sake, leave them alone. So if you can speak the truth when you absolutely have to, I promise we will win. If you resist the urge to continue to professionalize and sanitize this movement, these loud voices, then I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
Feminist charlatan, more than I bargained then. I say I think women have cocks and that men look good in frocks, but I'll sell my arse on OnlyFans and claim that it's a feminist friend. But I've sold out to any who pay. That's the modern feminist charlatan's way. I'm a feminist where men go first. You see that I am the worst. No wonder I am so bitter. magic of a man in her space. I wanted to make every last woman feel that I'm just a fucking disgrace. Feminist charlatan, more than I bargained. And I say I think women have cocks and that men look good in frocks. But I'll sell my arse on OnlyFans and claim that it's a feminist friend. But I've sold out to any who pay. That's the modern feminist charlatan's way. Men can enter our spaces. We have no right to object. If you speak for women's rights, your career can just get wrecked. Girls in the boxing ring goes the race. Have a man in your changing room with a grin on his face. Don't be a bigot when he shows his dick. Don't feel so scared that you claim to feel sick. Feminist charlatan, more than I bargained. And I say I think women have cocks and that men look good in frocks. But I'll sell my arse on OnlyFans and claim that it's a feminist friend. But I have sold out to any who pay. That's the modern feminist charlatan's way. Men can enter our spaces. We have no right to object.